Hi, beauties. How are you doing today? Y'all already know we gotta check in and make sure we can hear ourselves first before we get started, honey. How are we doing today, y'all? Thank you for checking in to Dear Me, I Am Me. Yeah, we are live. We are live, honey. Can y'all hear me? All right, we live. We in there. We started at 7 o'clock. Y'all, first off, I want to say, hold on, let me get TikTok up and running too, y'all. All right. Let me get TikTok up and running. Let me get my mic together. Hey y'all. How we doing, y'all? Thank you, YouTube and TikTok, both for having us tonight. Y'all, come on in, come on in, come on in. Y'all, don't be too hard on your girl. I know I missed last Monday. I know I missed last Monday. But let me tell y'all something. Your girl was not feeling well. I was not feeling well, you guys. Come on in, check on in with your girl. Like I said, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in to Dear Me, I Am Me. We are here, baby. We are here. Listen, I got to do a little girl talk. Let me tell y'all why I wasn't feeling well, right? So I got invited to go to this meetup in Miami, right? Y'all, let me tell you, it was a good vibe. It was a great vibe. I'm going to say that. We had a great time. I want to say, it was amazing to meet up and share conversations with other people that's on a higher level than you. And they can also share ideas and tips of how they got to where they are today, right? And I'm just grateful to be able to be invited to this. And I appreciate the person who was able to invite me to that. So y'all surround yourselves with uplifting individuals who speak nothing but positivity to you, encouragement, and also um they're going to invite you to places also like that. You know what I'm saying? But y'all, on the way back from Miami, back home, I was fine, right? But as soon as I got off that plane, your girl felt like crap. So on Monday, when we were supposed to have our Dear Me Live and stuff or whatever, I could not. As y'all can tell, like I'm still trying to get my voice together. So give me a moment. So yeah, y'all, like I really had no voice. I just was not feeling well. And I feel as though like when it's time for me to go live with y'all, I want to give y'all 100% of me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to half behind anything, right? So yeah, y'all, thank you guys for tuning in to Dear Me, I Am Me. Y'all clap it up for yourselves, clap it up for yourselves, beauties. So before we get into tonight, I want to pause for a second, okay? I want to pause for a second. And as you guys already know, before we even start going into the Dear Me, I Am Me for real, I want to ask you guys, how has your mental been lately? How has your mental been lately on a scale of 1 to 10? Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. How is your mental going from a scale of 1 to 10? Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10. And like I always tell you guys, this is not about, like what you tell people, right? When it comes to your mental, this is not about like what you tell people, right? This is not about what you be posting online, right? This is about being real with yourself and saying, this is how I'm feeling currently right now. 10 is your highest. I'm feeling amazing. 5 is I'm all right. 1 is, you know what, sis? I ain't all right now. You know what I'm saying? This is your chance to be honest with yourselves. And like I said, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 of how your mental is really going. All right? So clap it up, you guys. Clap it up for yourselves for just being present, for slowing down, for taking time out yourselves currently right now, and just being in the moment. Okay. So like I always tell you guys, this is not just a conversation that we're having. Hey TikTok, how we doing? This is not just a conversation for tonight, okay? Tonight we are being interactive, okay? Y'all hit me up in the chat, okay? Tonight we are being interactive, okay? I want you to release what you've been holding in to say tonight, okay? And just let it all out, okay? No biting your tongue. Y'all with me? Y'all with me? Put some mirrors in the chat. Y'all with me? Y'all understand what we saying tonight? All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. All right. So before I really get started, you guys, for those that are new to Dear Me, I Am Me, my name is Tashiana. Hey, how we doing, girl? How we doing? My name is Tashiana. I created Dear Me, I Am Me. It was first started in the park. Your girl was having a bad day, and my journaling ended up being on the podcast. I let it loose on the podcast, right? So if you guys want to see that, you guys can always go back to the beginning on episode 1 of how Dear Me, I Am Me really got started. So Dear Me, I Am Me is a space for real conversation, self-reflection, and also growth. Okay. So, in Dear Me, I Am Me, I share honest moments, journaling, holistic wellness guidance, and personal development to help you to reconnect with yourself. Okay, to build more of self-awareness, confidence, and to also protect your peace. Okay, that is what Dear Me, I Am Me is about. This isn't about being perfect. Okay, it's about being real with where you are and growing from there. Okay. That is what Dear Me, I Am Me is all about. Okay. So, this is a moment where I want you guys to stop running. Okay. I want you to stop distracting yourself. Okay. And finally sit with yourself tonight. Okay. Like I said, you guys, we have had a long day. All right. And it's time to just be centered with yourself and for other people that's also on this live together. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and get started, y'all. I hope you guys can hear me. If you guys can hear me, put a couple mirrors in the chat. Let your girl know. Let your girl know. So, beauties, before we go ahead and get started, okay, get your candle. Have your candle lit. Y'all already know it's time for us to set the vibe tonight, okay? So go ahead, get your candle lit. All right, sis. Grab your journal, grab your Dear Me journal worksheet. Go ahead and grab it. All right. If you don't have it, I just put it in the chat. Go ahead and grab it and find you a little quiet space just for you. Okay. Like I said, grab your candle, light it, grab your Dear Me journal, okay, and find a little space and relax, okay? Because tonight it's time for us to open up our diaries, y'all. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Let's go ahead and get started. Hey, user 65876956653. How are you doing tonight? Hey, Jasmine, how are you doing, love? Let's see what's going on with you guys. How is everybody doing? Like I said, go ahead and put your mental rated on a scale of 1 to 10. Be honest with yourself. This number is for you to be honest and recognize where you are today. So when it's time for you to go back to that number tomorrow, and if you're having a better day or you having a little bit more, you having an off day, you know which number is which, right? It's all about improving each day, evolving each day, right? So, like I said, put in your journal, go ahead and put your number for where your mental health is today on a scale of 1 to 10. All right. All right. So before we get started, y'all already know we got to say the disclaimer, y'all. we got to say the disclaimer because, like I always tell y'all, people be peopling, right? So we got to say the disclaimer before we even get started for real. All right. So the Dear Me IME program is designed to encourage self-reflection, okay, personal awareness, and emotional growth, guided journaling, and intentional conversation. Okay, this program is intended for educational and inspirational purposes only. Okay, the information, prompts, and discussions shared with the Dear Me IME program are not intended to replace professional medical how you say it? I'm gonna say legal, psychology, or financial advice. Sorry about that, y'all. Participation in this program does not establish a therapeutic or clinical relationship. Okay, while many participants find journaling and self-reflection supportive in their personal growth journey, individual experiences may vary. Okay, so, if you are currently experiencing severe emotional distress, mental health challenges, or require professional support, we strongly encourage you to seek guidance from a licensed therapist, counselor, or qualified healthcare provider. Okay. By participating in the Dear Me IME program, you acknowledge that you are responsible for your own well being, choices, and personal development throughout the program experience. Okay. The Dear Me IME program and its creator aim to provide a supportive and empowerment environment, but results, breakthroughs, and outcomes will be different from each individual. Okay. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Remember what you're carrying. You don't have to carry it alone tonight. Okay. So, most importantly, be gentle with yourself. So, take a deep breath in. Y'all, let's take a deep breath in because it's been a long day. Hold it for 4 seconds. Let it out. And let's get into it, you guys. Yay! Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. How are we doing tonight, you guys? How are we doing? If y'all doing okay, drop some mirrors. Drop some mirrors in the chat. How are we doing tonight, y'all? How are we doing tonight? Again, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in to Dear Me, I Am Me. I am beyond grateful. We are grateful to have each and every last one of you guys here. Okay. Okay. Now, ladies, I'm speaking to my ladies, but gentlemen, if you are here, I'm grateful. But ladies, you've been doing the work, right? You have been doing the work, girl. You have been doing the work, right? You have been becoming more aware, right? Y'all, I am drinking some time tea. If you guys do not know, if you've been having some kind of like inflammation or like a little like backup with mucus and stuff, get you some fresh thyme, throw it in some water, utilize that steam from that pot, make you some tea with that thyme, add you some honey, add you some lemon, and baby, let me tell you something. Let your girl know in the chat how it's working after you make that thyme tea, or if you have had it before, let me know. Let me know how it go. Okay. But like I said, sis, you have been doing the work, right? You have been becoming more aware, right? You have been growing, right? Right? But let me tell you something, sis. If you don't protect that growth, you will find yourself right back in the same place as in before. Okay? Talk to me, chat. How we feeling tonight? Am I right or am I wrong? Am I right or am I wrong? Hey, Jamiko. I want to say Jamaica. Hey sis, how we doing? Talk to me, chat. How we doing? You heard me, right? You will find yourself right back in the same place as in before. Okay? So tonight, in tonight's workshop, okay, I want you guys to plant this in your head before we move any further. Plant this in your head. Growth isn't just about becoming. That's all we keep hearing about, right? That's all we keep hearing about. Becoming this, becoming that, right? Growth isn't just about becoming. All right? Y'all know what else it's about? What growth is about? Growth. Sorry, y'all, my laps are chapped. Growth is not just about who you're becoming. It's about protecting who you are becoming. Okay? It's about protecting who you are becoming. Okay? So let's go into this a little further. Basically, what I'm saying is it's about actively protecting that version of yourself while it's still forming. While it's still forming. Okay? See, a lot will be reconnected while it's still happening, right? So that's why I'm saying it's about protecting that version of yourself while it's still forming. Okay. So let's go into this a little further, y'all. Let's go into this a little further. Okay. I want to go into why growth doesn't stick. Why doesn't growth stick? I know you guys have been wondering this, right? Why doesn't growth stick with me? Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. Why doesn't growth stick with me? You've been curious, right? So let me tell y'all something. One, let me tell you why growth doesn't stick. You keep going back to old environments, okay? Growth isn't just always internal, it can be environmental as well. Okay. It's not just internal. Okay. If you keep returning to places that shaped old habits of you, that shaped old versions of who you are becoming, those patterns are going to pull you back in, sis. You hear what I'm saying? Those patterns are going to pull you back in. All right. See, growth often requires distance. It often requires distance and not just discipline. You get where I'm coming from? Do you get where I'm coming from? See, here's an example. Okay. Here's an example. Hold on, you guys. Let me pour myself some more tea. Let me pour myself some more tea real quick. It's not just about, like I said, it's not just about discipline. Sometimes growth requires distance. All right. Here's an example. Here's an example. So, someone, I'm not going to just say you, someone is trying to become more disciplined, right? However, this person keeps hanging around people who normalize procrastination, right? See, eventually, if you keep on hanging around people that normalize procrastination, eventually you'll slip up on your discipline, right? So that's why sometimes you have to distance yourself from the person that's being procrastinating, because you're going to not just be disciplined, but you're going to pull yourself back into old patterns of who you used to be. And the person that you are today cannot allow that. All right? Y'all get where I'm coming from? Y'all get where I'm coming from? Put some mirrors in the chat. Put some mirrors in the chat if y'all get where I'm coming from. Let your girl know. How we feeling tonight, y'all? How we doing? How we doing? All right, let's go into two. Let's go into two. So the first one was you keep going back to old environments, right? You keep going back into old environments and you keep pulling yourself back in, right? But yet you blaming them for it because you keep going back, to that place, right? It's not their fault, it's your fault, right? Let's be honest. You want to be real? Let's be real. That's what we're doing tonight, right? Like I said, we're opening up the diary, you guys. We have to be real. We have to be more self-aware. We have to take accountability, right? You can't blame somebody else when it's your own fault, right? All right. So let's go into two. Not setting boundaries. Hold on, I gotta pop my back. Not setting boundaries. Right? That's two, right? So without boundaries, your growth gets overridden by other people's access to you. All right? So let me break this down. Like I said, too, without boundaries, your growth gets overridden by other people's access to you. All right? Let me break it down for you guys for a second. Hold on, y'all. Hold on for a second, y'all. Hold on, give me a second real quick. All right? So let me break that down from what I just said, right? So boundaries protect your time, protect your energy, and also it protects your mindset, right? So let me say this. Saying yes to everything is basically you saying no to your growth, right? Which prevents overcommitment. Okay? Saying yes to everything equals saying no to your growth. All right? See, people will use level of access you allow. Let me say that again. People use the level of access you allow, okay? And one thing that you want to do is you want to be able to prevent burnt out, right? You want to limit yourself not to participation, but to draining conversations. Okay? All right. Y'all get where I'm coming from? Y'all get where I'm coming from? All right. So we went over one, right? So one, you keep going back to old environments, right? Two, you're not setting boundaries. All right? Right? Let's go into three. What's three talking about? Let's go into three. Okay? Let's go into three. See, one thing that I had to understand, right? One thing I had to understand is boundaries are not rejection. Okay? Boundaries are not rejection. They are self-respect in action. Okay? See, eventually, at one point in time in your life, as you start growing, guess what? People are still expecting the old version of you, right? They still expecting the old version of you, right? See, sis, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something right quick, sis. Not everyone update their image of you when you change. Am I making sense? Am I making sense, y'all? Am I making sense? I'm going to say this again. Not everyone updates their image of you when you change. Okay? You can be introducing people to the new you, the new profession of you, right? And yet they still talking about the old profession of you, right? And but that's not where you are today, right? See, since you can't get mad at that, right? Because eventually they're gonna have to come up to your level, right? Or eventually you're gonna have to just continue to just move on, right? And continue to still do what you're doing, right? Which is evolving, right? But people are comfortable with the version of you they understand. Hold on. I don't think y'all got me. I don't think y'all got me on there, right? Let me say this again. Not everyone updates their image of you when you change. Not everyone updates their image of you when you change. Okay? Hold on, y'all. Not not everyone updates their image of you when you change. Okay? Like I said before, people are comfortable with the version of you they understand. Okay? And sometimes I want y'all to hear me. Sometimes your growth can feel like an inconvenience or rejection to them, so they test you. Let me go back so y'all can understand this. I want y'all to put this together. Not everyone updates their image of you when you change. People are comfortable with the version of you they understand, right? And sometimes your growth can feel like an inconvenience or rejection, so they test you, all right? And that's why you have to be consistent daily. That's why you have to be consistent daily and you cannot fall off, right? Right? Let me go back. Saying yes to everything equals saying no to your growth. That's why you have to be consistent daily. All right? You can't say no to your growth. That's not what we doing. That's not what we doing, sis. That's not what we doing. Okay? See, boundaries isn't about being rude, y'all. It's not about being rude, y'all. Okay? It's not about cutting people off immediately. Okay? That's not what it's about. It's not about trying to be able to control everything. Okay? Let me tell y'all something. That's not what it's about. It will backfire on you. That's not what it's about. No, no, no. That's not what it's about. It's about protecting your peace, your energy, and your growth. That is what boundary is about, okay? So I know some of y'all are wondering. Hold on, pull my chair up. I know some of y'all are wondering, well, why do boundaries feel hard, right? Why do they feel so hard? Right? See, let me tell you guys why boundaries feel so hard. Let me tell y'all why boundaries feel hard. Boundaries feel hard because we fear of losing people, right? Let me tell y'all why boundaries feel hard. Excuse me, my voice is going in and out. Let me tell you guys why boundaries feel hard, okay? Boundaries feel hard because you're scared of disappointing people, right? Like I said, one, fear of losing people. Two, not wanting to disappoint, right? Why do boundaries feel hard, y'all? Guilt, okay? Why do boundaries feel hard, y'all? Why do they feel hard? Because people are used to overgiving. Listen, I'm not just saying this just to saying this. I'm saying this because I went through this, right? So if I went through this and you guys are listening to me, then I know for a fact one of you guys have been through this as well. Okay. See, a lot of you, see, a lot of us, I'm going to say us, a lot of us don't struggle with boundaries, right? You struggle with feeling bad about having boundaries. It hurts your feelings. It hurts your feelings, right? Because you want to evolve so bad. You want to evolve so bad, but you don't want to lose the people that you want to come up there with you, to climb up that mountain with you. Sis, I get it. I get it, honey. I get it, right? So y'all, let's bring out our journals, right? Let's bring out our journals for a moment. How we feeling, y'all? How we feeling? How are we feeling, you guys? Let your girl know how y'all feeling in chat. How y'all feeling? Put some mirrors in the chat if y'all are feeling good. Let me know. Let me know. How we feeling, y'all? How we feeling, y'all? How we feeling, y'all? All right. So let's talk real quick. Open your journals up. I know you guys have your journals, so let's talk real quick. All right. I want you guys to write these questions down. All right. Because I want you guys to be able to confront these questions. All right. So, question one is, what boundaries am I avoiding setting and why? Okay. That's question number one. What boundaries am I avoid setting and why? Excuse me, y'all. Write that down. What boundaries am I avoid setting and why? Like I said, we are about being more self-aware. Okay. This is a season of being more self-aware, right? Being accountable, right? Trusting yourself, okay? And why? Okay. If that question hits y'all, put a mirror in the chat or say me. Let me know. Let me know, let me know, let me know, let me know, girl. All right. All right. So next, so let me go back. One was, what boundaries am I avoid setting and why? Okay. All right. Y'all got that? And like I said, if you guys need the Dear Me journal, I put the link in the chat so you guys can also go on there and get it. We also go further into Dear Me, I Am Me in the program, which happens on Wednesdays in a private group, you guys. I just want to tell you guys that as well, just to let y'all know. But question one, like I said, what boundaries am I setting and why? Put that in y'all journal. Okay. That's, like I said, it's about being more self-aware. Okay. We gotta build ourselves up, ladies. All right. All right. All right. Question two. Y'all ready for question two? All right. Question two. Question two actually comes from our Dear Me journal worksheet. Okay. So if you guys already have the worksheet, I know you guys already have your answers in there. So question two, right? Question two on here will be our question four on a Dear Me worksheet journal. Okay. It is, what habits, environments, or relationship no longer align with who I am today, with the person that I am becoming today. That's question number two. All right. That's question number two. That's in our Dear Me journal, right? That you guys have to write down, right? And we're gonna go over it on Wednesday. Y'all got that? What habits, environments, or relationship no longer align with the person that I am becoming today? All right. This is about self-reflection. This is about being honest, and this is about being truthful with yourself. It is going to hurt your feelings. It is going to crush your feelings, right? But like I said, you cannot feel guilty for becoming a better person. All right. Lisa, I want to say thank you for joining. Cher, I want to say thank you for joining. Tabitha, I want to say thank you for joining. Um, about all, I want to say thank you for joining. Aline White, thank you for joining. Chimiko, thank you for joining. I am beyond grateful, you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for joining. All right. All right. So, like I said, question 2. What habits, environments, or relationship no longer aligns with the person that you are becoming? That's question 2. Okay. That's question 2. All right. And the last question for tonight that I want you guys to ask yourself is, come on with it. Y'all ready for the last question? If y'all need me to go back to question number 1 and 2, let me know. I will go back to that. All right. Y'all, we on live today. Like I said, I'm so sorry that I missed last week, y'all. Your girl was not feeling good, like at all. I lost my voice. I just was in bed for like 3 days, but we are here. Okay. Question number 3. Question number 3 is, what would protecting your growth actually look like today? That's question number 3. What would protecting your growth actually look like today? All right. That's question number 3. All right. I'm going to say this one more time. One more time. Question number 3. What would protecting your growth actually look like today? All right. And I have a couple of simple boundary tips, right, that you can utilize today, right? So I have a couple tips that I wanted to give you guys that you guys can like utilize today, because everybody needs them, right? And these are tips that I actually utilize myself, right? So one of the tips that I actually utilize is saying, instead of saying yes, right? Because we're not people pleasing anybody, right? Instead of saying yes, right? You say, right, like I said, journals are still open, y'all. Journals are still open, right? So this is what you're gonna say instead of saying yes, right? Say, I need time to think about that, right? So you can come up with an answer, right? Instead of saying yes all the time, right? Instead of you saying yes, right? Because remember, like I said earlier, hold on. Right, like I said earlier, saying yes to everything equals saying no to your growth, right? So instead of saying yes, say, I need time to think about that, right? So you don't hinder yourself in the present time and also in the future. Okay. All right. So that's the first tip, right? Tip 2, not over explaining. Not over explaining. Say what you gotta say and leave it at that, y'all. Say what you gotta say and leave it at that. All right. All right. So that's 2, right? Tip 3, like I said, write this down. Tip 3, write this down. Limiting access to your time and also to your energy. You have to. You have to. You have to limit access to your time and also your energy. All right? You have to limit access to your time and also to your energy. All right? And then last, change how available you are. Change how available you are. Okay? Just because somebody call you don't mean you have to pick up that phone every time somebody call you. Okay? All right? And remember, boundaries don't have to be loud, y'all. Boundaries don't have to be loud, right? You don't have to tell everybody that you're setting your boundaries, because this is for you. Okay? Boundaries don't have to be loud. They just have to be consistent. Boundaries don't have to be loud. They just have to be consistent. All right? So before we end off tonight, you guys, before we end off tonight, All right. If you are ready to start this journey, I want you guys to download the Dear Me, I Am Me journal worksheet for next Monday and the Mondays after that, because we're gonna keep doing this. All right. This is not just about tonight. All right. This is not just about tonight, right? This is about you opening up that journal worksheet, you reconnecting with yourself, you being more self-aware, and you also protecting your peace. All right. So if you do not have the journal worksheet, go ahead and download it. I already put the link in. It's free. Go ahead and do it. All right. It's for check-ins, it's for worksheets, and it's also for real moments like this so we could connect with each other, right? Thank you, Jennifer, for following. I'm very grateful. Thank you, Jonathan, Alex, and I'm blessed. Thank you. All right. It's for real moments like this so we can reconnect with each other. All right. So if you are ready to go deeper, if you're ready to go deeper, the Dear Me, I Am Me program is where we do this together, y'all. All right. Like I said, we do this on Mondays to the public. We do it on Wednesdays in a private group. Okay. And it's just not for tonight, but it's for being more consistent. All right. So I want to say we're going to go further on this on Wednesdays in the Dear Me, I Am Me program in a private group. And until next time, y'all, until next time, peace, love, and laughs. Thank you guys for joining us tonight.